This is the Pete Podcast. Hey, this is the Pete Podcast. How you doing? Now, in the last episode, I met Rick Adams, who is the founder of the Wallington Surrey Facebook group, and we had a really cool chat about life in the local community and Rick's love for local history. If you haven't heard it, you can go and check it out. It's on iTunes, it's on Spotify, it's on SoundCloud, it's on YouTube, wherever you get your podcasts from, really. Now, in this episode, I met with Andy Fulker, who is one of the directors of the Sutton Night Watch homeless charity. Now, Sutton Night Watch was set up to support and raise awareness for homeless people within the London Borough of Sutton and surrounding areas, and you'll hear the incredible story of how the charity went from handing out sandwiches from a trolley behind Sutton Station to getting keys to their own premises, where they continue to support the most vulnerable people in our local community. Now, I met Andy at their Wallington base just before we went into lockdown, and while we met in one of the quieter rooms in the building, there was still a lot of activity going on in the background, so don't be put off, but please continue to listen to the amazing story of Sutton Night Watch. They really are the light in the shadows. Hi Andy, welcome to the Pete Podcast. How are you doing?
Yeah, good.
Good.
Yeah.
I've just walked in through the front door, so for those people listening in, this is located at the bottom of Manor Road, just opposite the Duke's Head pub. This is a fantastic charity, I believe. Why don't you tell us a little bit about how this all came about and your involvement with it?
Well, Sutton Night Watch has been going since 2015. They started at the back of a train station in Sutton. They had a little small table with a couple of flasks and a few bits of food. I came across someone outside Asda in Sutton that was selling like calendars that had been made up for Sutton Night Watch, and I was asking questions about it, and I was interested to get involved, so I contacted the fella that was running it at the time, and I went down to the back of the station, started volunteering with them. But it was like, for me, it was like feeding the homeless, but there wasn't a lot of food. You know, there was very limited amount of food, and I wanted to do more. So I started approaching shops in Sutton. Like, the first shop I approached was Costa Coffee, because I knew the manager. Explained to him what we were doing, and he said, yeah, I can give you our sandwiches at the end of the day, which was brilliant. You know, it was giving more food for the charity, you know, for Sutton Night Watch. But that, I wasn't happy, you know. I think, no, you know, I can do more here. So I approached Greggs, spoke to Greggs, asked them what happens with their food at the end of the day, and they said it goes in a bin.
Okay.
And I'm like, is there any chance we can get this? And they're like, you have to contact the head office, which I did. Spoke to the lady there, explained to her what we were doing. She sent me some forms, filled in the forms, and she contacted me back and said, we're happy to give you the food.
Okay, amazing.
So I went back to the fella that was running it, and I said to him, I've got Greggs on board now. And he's like, how did you do that? He's like, I approached him and they said no. I said, I think I must have approached him at the right time.
Okay.
And then it started, you know, the table went from being a small table to 2 full-size tables.
Okay.
With loads of food. And I'm thinking, this is better, you know. Now we really are helping feed the homeless, and it just grew from there. I set up this whole thing of collecting food in Sutton, so we have a regular food pickup 3 days a week now in Sutton. We go Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and collect from Greggs, from Marks and Spencer's, from Lidl's, from Sainsbury's, today I've just got a new one on board.
Okay.
In like sub C7.
Okay.
Like, they want to give their food to us. So yeah, you know, now we've got this whole thing where we're collecting the food. You know, for me it started with a little trolley. Then that little trolley turned into a 4-wheel trolley. And I was just stacking these crates on the trolley and pulling it up the high street. But now we got a van.
Great.
Which the money was donated by the big lottery.
Okay.
So we drive around in our van now to pick up the stuff. And I've been involved with Sutton Night Watch probably now for over 3 years.
Okay. And what was it that you felt originally what was it that made you really want to get involved?
Personally, I watched a programme on telly. Like, the founder of The Big Issue set up this thing with some celebrities to give up their celebrity life for a week and sleep on the streets. And it just made, seeing that programme, it really, really pulled at the heartstrings, and thought, I need to get involved, I need to try and do something to help. These people do matter, they are human beings. They're down on their luck, and people are kicking them when they're down. And as I say, it's just over 3 years now.
Yeah.
I've proper thrown myself into this.
Wow. And before this, you had no. Had you worked in charities before? Or
No.
Really?
No,
okay.
no.
So this was just the first time you.
Yeah. The Sutton Night Watch that originally was set up had to be closed down because it wasn't registered right. So we had to close it down, re-register it, and then we went for our charity registration. And as I say, a group of us managed to get it registered as a charity, and it was a real big thing for us because, the process of trying to register was quite daunting.
Okay.
Something we wasn't familiar with.
Right, I can imagine not a lot of people are familiar with.
We were trying to register as a small charity, and the charity commission, like, you're not a small charity.
Okay.
You're a big charity.
How did that feel, like, to be told that?
Yeah, I mean, they were really good. They were really supportive. They wasn't trying to make things awkward. They just wanted to make sure that we did it the right way. And at the time, it was Sutton Night Watch Limited.
Okay.
They didn't like the Limited. It gave the wrong impression.
Oh, okay, so it looked like, more like a business rather than... Right, okay.
It gave the wrong impression, so we had to drop the Limited and we put the Homeless on it. And they liked that. And we've been registered since 2017.
Wow, okay.
And it's just grown.
Yeah.
It's gone at a fast pace.
Yeah. And where were you... What was prior to this? What was the setup?
We was in the Seacombe Theatre in Sutton.
Okay.
A couple of local councillors basically championed us to help get us in there. And they eventually got us in there. And we'd been in there 2 years, running it 3 nights a week. But, our service is grown from helping the homeless to helping vulnerable people as well. We was feeding 15 people at the back of the train station.
Right.
When we moved into the Seacombe, that doubled.
Right.
And then the numbers went up even more. And there's a great need to support the vulnerable as well.
You guys do amazing work, really.
As I say, we're not miracle workers, but we're just people that care and want to make sure, that every homeless person is given equal rights. That as some people look at them, they're not a piece of scum on the earth. They're down on their luck. They don't need people constantly treading on them. They just need to know that there's someone there that's going to listen. And that's what we do. We listen. As I say, we're not miracle workers, but we would do our best to fight their corner for them. to try and get them the support that they need.
How many volunteers do you have here, actually?
We've got over 80 volunteers.
Over 80 volunteers.
Yeah.
So that's 80 people who are willing to give up their free time, where they could be probably doing something else, or just sitting home, willing to give all of that up to come down here and help some of the most vulnerable people in our local society.
We have got a fantastic volunteer base. Some of the people that come and volunteer go way and above to help these people. They're getting good, nourishing food, hot food, not junk food, proper, like your veg, your meat, as I said. They're walking away with a full tummy. At least we know they're going to sleep at night not hungry.
Yeah. Wow, that's amazing.
No, so it is very rewarding. I've got a lot out of it. I'm learning new things all the time.
Wow.
I think my father-in-law says to me that I found my theme in life by doing this.
Wow.
Because, as I said, I literally have thrown a lot of time into this, as well as my colleague Lisa. We've put a lot of hard time and effort to get where we are now.
Wow, that's amazing. So if anyone is listening to this and you do feel like getting involved, do check out Sutton Night Watch. Search Facebook, search Instagram, search on Google Sutton Night Watch, and hopefully, if there's people out there that really want to get involved and can feel, I'm just sitting here talking to you, and this is kind of hit me. I'm really overwhelmed actually by some of the stuff you said today. It's been really amazing, and I hope that anyone listening to this will also kind of get a sense of that as well. I wish you all the best going forward, and thanks for guesting on the PP podcast. I really appreciate it.
You're very welcome, and thank you.
Cheers, Andy. Wow, that was such an incredible story, and I was certainly touched by the fact that there are these ordinary, everyday people in our local community who are going above and beyond to provide support for these vulnerable folk. Absolute heroes in my eyes. Now, I actually spoke to Andy just before this podcast episode was released, against the backdrop of the lockdown that we're currently all experiencing, and he explained to me that many of the programs they had in place when we did this interview a couple of months ago are actually on hold for now, which has had an obvious knock-on effect for the people they serve. They are still continuing to provide support in the way of hot meals and food parcels, but it will take some time until the lockdown measures are relaxed before they can continue implementing their plans for the social support. Please do look up the Sutton Night Watch and the 55 appeal that Andy spoke of, because now more than ever these guys need our help. I wish you all the best and look forward to bringing you the next episode of the Peep Peep podcast when I met an artist.